Mr. X, you have so many Hulk statues. Why do you need any more? Well, simply because this one has 4 heads. To give back to you guys, the Extreme Channel is giving away this giant Goro statue from PCS for our 20,000 sub giveaway. If you want to know how to win this, I'll tell you a little bit later in this video. Hey everybody, I want to start off by first apologizing for the weird angle. However, there was so much stuff to get into the shot. Not only that, but I took my tripod home. I had to use it in the bedroom. But today we are looking at this custom 1/4 scale giant incredible Hulk statue, and guess what? It is very incredible. So this is a custom piece. It means it was a private unlicensed commission. No, I can't help you get any. They made very few of these. We'll talk about that when we get to value, but I'm super stoked because it blew my expectations away. Not that my expectations weren't high, because as you saw in the intro, I have tons of Hulk statues. This guy, I'm actually gonna have him face off against XM Studios Hulkbuster. If you wanna see what that looks like, I'm gonna post it on the Extreme Channel Facebook and Instagram and maybe TikTok. So make sure to go ahead and check those out. But let's dive into this incredible review of this monstrous Hulk piece. So this is officially called Driven by Rage, and it's supposed to show the Hulk's anger, and it has a lot of his origins on the side, whether it's supposed to be a conceptual piece or a physical actual piece. But let's talk about that with the concept. Now on the base here, you have a bunch of things going on, and this is where I don't know if it's supposed to be conceptual or an actual part of the story. But you see the hyperbolic chamber and where he originally was made the Hulk. It looks like it may be outside or the bottom of the building because you see a lot of concrete. You see some post-tension cable or some rebar in there, and flames, which also has a light up feature we're gonna talk about. Now, as you move up, one really unique thing about this Hulk is I don't think I've ever seen a 1/4 scale Hulk in such a dynamic pose. So typically with statues, they're either in a museum style, which is what most Hulks are, very little movement, kind of posing for a picture, or this guy, he is about to smash somebody or something. He's in the middle of lunging forward or running, and his fist is ready to clobber somebody. I absolutely love it. And what's even crazier is the 4 different portraits we're gonna talk about. All of them have that Driven by Rage, angry Hulk piece to it. So I love the concept, incredibly unique. It makes the statue gigantic, which may be a disadvantage we'll talk about, but very cool, very different. Like I said, it's gonna look awesome paired off against XM Studios Hulkbuster. I give the concept a 4 out of 5. The reason why I don't give it a 5 out of 5 is because it does have some awkward angles as well as the size, which do also tie into the design of this piece. Now, what's really interesting with the design, it was so big, and honestly, I was so excited that I didn't film the unboxing and assembly of him. But to kind of break it down for you, first, the base is one piece along with all the flames, all those came together. There's 2 building pieces in the back that are separate. The Hulk's legs are one piece, then his torso is one piece, and then of course each of the portraits, and then you have 4 busts. So these are technically switch outs. Let's talk about that. There are 4 different portraits. First, look at this one. This is probably my favorite. In my opinion, this is more of a modernized one. And then you have more of an archaic Hulk. And then another modernized one with his hair much different. And again, there's probably specific conceptual references for these. Then almost a Lou Ferrigno style with a little bit of a twist to it. Now, the awesome thing about this is I initially didn't think I'd dig all these Hulk portraits, but when we look at the paint and sculpt, you'll see how much I like them. But they gave separate bust displays for them all. So check these out. And not only what's really cool is, as you look at each of these, it actually has the name of each sculptor who sculpted the portraits. I absolutely love that. I can't think of another piece I have where multiple sculptors sculpted different portraits. Awesome, awesome design feature. Another really cool design feature, like I said, the flames actually light up via AC adapter and you can turn the button on. So here's a picture of them off. And then here's a picture of them on. So I should be able to hook that up to my light up system, which recently I did an office tour that I filmed about a month ago. So you can actually check that out right here. But let's get the dimensions on this guy. Now it's hard to tell, is this the front? Is this the front? Is this the front? So like I said, there's so many different ways you can display him, but let's, for the sake of argument, say that that is the front. So from that aspect, the widest point is about 25, 26 inches. Then the deepest point is over 31 inches, plus his front hand sticks out even more. Add another 4 or 5 inches to that. And the tallest point, which is probably his fist up here, is 34 inches. Wow. Definitely my biggest Hulk piece for sure. Now, one negative thing about the design, as well as, the size makes it hard to display, the angles make it hard to display, is there is a seam line because they're switch out heads. However, this is probably the best Hulk seam line I've ever seen when there are switch out heads. You can barely tell. Very impressed how they did that, and I was worried about this when this went into production. So design, I give them a ton of props. Again, the size is a negative, even though you do want Hulk big. I think it's a 4 out of 5 on the design. Very ambitious, they pulled it off. I have zero regrets. Now we're gonna look at the paint and sculpt, and it's even more impressive than the concept and the design. While it's not perfect, it's pretty damn good, so let's take a look at that. All right, so let's first start on all the portraits. We'll take detailed close-ups of each one. Also looking at these mini bust displays. They all have a stick-on label on the front, nameplate that says the sculptor, like we talked about earlier. I think that's pretty cool, and it's in the standard Hulk writing with green trim around it. Now, the base of these little portrait displays is essentially a little half-circular granite stone with even some intricate details on the side. I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean, but it's cool that they put it in here. But great paint, great texture. The back of these mini bust displays is like many sideshow life-size busts. It's just the plain black. I don't think it's really needed to make the entire part Hulk. But let's look at these portraits. Frankly, I love them all. I didn't think I would. So this is, to me, has a little bit of the Ferrigno. I love what they did with the eyes, the beady transformation eyes right in there. The hair matted down to the side. All of these, the teeth is done phenomenal. They have great coloring around the gums, and the tongue on the inside, and then that glistening effect with the teeth. I just love this expression, and what I love about all of them is they're all very different, but they truly show that driven by rage, that anger. Then, really quick, all the bust displays are the same, but you'll see a lot of this on the actual body, but they stayed true to the venation. So these little bust displays, I'm not going to have room to display them all right next to this piece, but definitely within my Hulk collection. So let's move to Caleb's sculpt. Now, one of my favorite sculptors, but this may be one of my least favorite of these portraits, even though I love it. So we transformed to the green pupils on the eyes, which is fantastic. The hair kind of flowing all over the place because he is destroying stuff. So I think that tells a really good story with the actual statue. And really quick, here's the bust, or the seam line on these is very minimal, just like you saw on the statue. I love this expression, his mouth wide open. You'll notice some coloring of green on the tongue. I really like that effect. And this pink that they used in here, a little bit more dirty, but again, the teeth are done fantastically. Really great job on this. Like I said, even though it's my least favorite, that's just preference, but I think it's probably one of the best done, even though they're all done phenomenally. Then moving on to the Sheridan sculpt. I like this. I don't have a Hulk like this. I know a few customs that have come out in the past that are similar to this. I like how the gums are green, the eyes are yellow, short hair. Again, the detail on this is phenomenal. We're just on the portraits. Wait till we get to the actual Hulk statue. And then probably my favorite one, this is to me a more modernized take. You have the green eyes with the black pupils in the front. Again, his mouth is open. You see a lot more humanistic features in this, in my opinion. The strands of hair flowing. Looks great. We'll talk more about the coloring of the skin and everything on the actual statue. But all these portraits are phenomenal. So we've already looked at the portraits, but let's start at the top looking at the body. Phenomenal anatomy, not only the muscularization, if that's even a word, but I love how the body really bends to what the pose actually is. So you see the ribs on the side, the six-pack in the front, the torso, and then tons of veins. This is a big veiny sucker. Now, with Hulk, you expect that, and I really like that. I said this in a Hulk review recently, that traditionally you don't see him in a large action dynamic pose, but like we talked about, you do see him here. I love the skin texture. I love the color of green they chose. The hands, the nails, they decided to stick with the traditional green and kind of these cracked aspects to them. And I know the creator of this, he's a Hulk lover, so I'm guessing there's specific reasons he went into that. You see some of that same great anatomy, especially with the musculature and how the body is moving as you move down to his legs, how twisting he is. Looks kind of interesting like that. The pants are fully sculpted. They have a nice textured pattern. I love the rips and the tears, how they even left some strands in between. A little bit different. You traditionally don't see in a Hulk piece. The button popped. I think that's a nice little detail. The pockets on the back, the stitching. Again, I like this color of purple too. It's a little bit darker than like XM transformation, so it gives it a little bit different flavor. So we move down to the giant massive feet. Same comments about the nails that we looked at in his hands. I also like how you see some of the cement or dirt coming up on his feet. I think that's a nice touch. A lot of details in here that I think you could easily overlook. Let's look at the flames really quick and then I'll unplug it. So they are translucent resin to give you that light up fire effect, which I think I'll be able to tie into the lights on the display itself. So I think that'll be cool. But here is a picture of them on. I like the orange and the yellow mix, and I'll unplug it here. But they still look good off as well. And you still see those colors of orange and yellow mixed in together. Then let's look at the concrete. I really like this. Usually when I see concrete on a base, I like a lot of texture. I don't think it's needed here. I like how there's different layering on the paint. I think they really use the paint to kind of bring it to this vibrant life. It's almost like this sandy, dusty tone. Looks like, honestly, that it very much could brush off when you touch it. So phenomenally done the way they painted that. So really, I love every part of it. I think they both deserve equal recognition, but I'm gonna grade both the paint and the sculpt a 5 out of 5 on this. Extremely, extremely impressed. Now, was this worth it? And guess what? They only made 60 of these, 50 painted and 10 kits. That is a steal. However, where this was manufactured, very expensive to ship. It cost $900 just to ship it. So I'm $2,000 all in. However, I think the value's still good. Grail Hulk pieces go for much more than that. While I'm not saying this is a Grail, I'm definitely saying this is one of the best Hulks ever. After I get those last 2 Hulk pieces in, I'm gonna do a new countdown from the worst to the best Hulk statues of the 20-25 pieces I have or so. Kind of a spoiler, he will definitely be in the top 5, if not higher than that. So for value, I still think it's a 4 out of 5. I think you are getting a ton for that money. And realistically, the shipping price is not the fault of anybody, although it did suck to pay. So does this statue have the X factor? Hopefully you're ahead of me. Of course this does. This is a 5 out of 5 statue on every level. I am so happy I have him in my collection. He is definitely one of my favorite Hulks. Props to them. They nailed it. Every part of it. Very impressed with the piece. To win this Goro statue, first thing you got to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've actually subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Second thing is leave a comment below and make sure it's a witty, entertaining, or funny comment. Because when we hit 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick a random video, and the comment that has the most likes on it will be the winner of this Goro statue. So make sure your comment is entertaining to others and entertaining to Mr. X. Because if I like it, I'm actually going to pin it to the tops to help you get more likes. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know in the comments if this is one of your Hulk statues or if I'm just dick riding it. But I really appreciate you watching. If you like Hulk statues, if you like stuff like this, hit that picture of me to subscribe. Drop me a like on the way out. I will talk to you very, very soon. Take care.